Shalom. Welcome to day 59 of the Daily Bread. We'll be reading from Exodus chapter 20, 1 Samuel 20, Psalm 64, Proverbs 28, and Luke 8. We'll be in the Scriptures 2009 version. Exodus chapter 20. The right glasses so I can see. On page 78. And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the land of house of slavery. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image, or any likeness of that which it is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters underneath the earth. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahweh, your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers of the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing loving commitment to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yahweh, your Elohim, to naught, for Yahweh does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught. Remember the Sabbath, to set it apart. 6 days you labor, and you shall do your work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath of Yahweh, your Elohim. You do not do any work. You, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your sojourn who is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart. Respect your father and your mother, so that your days are prolonged upon the soil which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder. You do not commit adultery. You do not steal. You do not bear false witness against your neighbor. You do not covet your neighbor's house. You do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. And all the people saw the thunders and the lightning flash, the voice of the shofar, and the mountain smoking, and the people saw it, and they trembled and stood at a distance, and said to Moshe, You speak with us, and we hear, but let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. And Moshe said to the people, Do not fear, for Elohim has come to prove you, and in order that his face be before you, so that you do not sin. So the people stood at a distance, but Moshe drew near the thick darkness where Elohim was. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Say this to the children of Israel, You yourselves have seen what I have spoken to you from the heavens. You do not make, besides me, mighty ones of silver, and you do not make mighty ones of gold for yourselves. Make a slaughter place of earth for me, and you shall slaughter on it your ascending offering and your peace offering, your sheep and your cattle, in every place where I cause my name to be remembered. I shall come to you and bless you, and if you make me a slaughter place of stone, do not build it out of cut stone, for if you use your chisel on it, you have profaned it. Nor do you go up by steps to my slaughter place, lest your nakedness be exposed on it. 1 Samuel chapter 20 on page 302. And David fled from Noah in Ramim and went and said to Jonathan, "What have I done? What is my crookedness? And what is my sin before your father that he seeks my life?" And Jonathan said to him, "Far be it. You are not going to die. See, my father does no big matter nor small matter without disclosing it to me. And why should my father hide this matter from me? It is not so." But David swore again and said, "Your father knows well that I have found favor in your eyes." And he says, "Do not let Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly, as Yahweh lives, and as your being lives, there is but a step between me and death." Jonathan said to David, "Whatever your desire is, I do it for you." And David said to Jonathan, "See, tomorrow is the new moon, and I ought to sit with the sovereign to eat. But let me go, and I shall hide in the field until the third day at evening. If your father misses me at all, then you shall say, 'David earnestly asked my permission to run over to Bethlehem, his city, for a yearly slaughtering is made there for all the clan.' If he says thus, it is well, your servant is safe. But if he is very displeased, then you know that he has resolved to do evil. And you shall show loving commitment to your servant, and shall show loving commitment to your servant, for you have brought your servant into a covenant of Yahweh with you. And if there is crookedness in me, put me to death. For why should you bring me to your father?" And Jonathan said, "Far be it from you, for if I knew with certainty that my father has resolved that evil is to come upon you, then I would not make it known to you." And David said to Jonathan, "Who would make it known to me? Or if your father answers you sharply?" And Jonathan said to David, "Come, and let us go out into the field." And they both went out into the field. And Jonathan said to David, "Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, be witness. When I search out my father sometime tomorrow, or the third day, and see if there is good toward David, and I do not send to you or disclose it to you, so let Yahweh do so, and be more to Jonathan. And if it pleases my father to do evil, then I shall disclose it to you, and send you away, and you shall go in peace. And Yahweh be with you, as he has been with my father. But show me loving commitment, O Yahweh. Not only shall I live, while I still live, so that I do not die, and do not cut off your loving commitment from my house forever. No, not when Yahweh has cut off every one of the enemies of David from the face of the earth." And Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, "Yahweh shall require it at the hand of the enemies of David." And Jonathan again made David swear, because he loved him. For he loved him as he loved his own being. So Jonathan said to him, "Tomorrow is the new moon, and you shall be missed, because your seat shall be empty. And on the third day, go down quickly, and you shall come to the place where you hid on the day of the deed, and shall remain by the stone Etzel. And let me shoot 3 arrows to the side of it, as though shooting at a target. And see, I shall send a youth, saying, 'Go, find the arrows.' If I expressly say to the youth, 'Look, the arrows are on this side of you, get them and come,' then as Yahweh lives, there is safety for you and no concern. But if I say thus to the youth, 'Look, the arrows are beyond you,' go your way, for Yahweh has sent you away. And as for the word which you and I have spoken, see, Yahweh is between you and me forever." And David hid in the field. When the new moon came, the sovereign sat down by the food to eat. And the sovereign sat on his seat, as in other times, on a seat by the wall, with Jonathan standing, and Abner sitting by Saul's side. But the place of David was empty. And Saul spoke not a word that day, for he thought it was an accident. He is not clean, for if he has not been cleansed, it came to be the next day, the second day of the new moon, that David's place was empty. And Saul said to Jonathan his son, "Why has the son of Yeshua, Jesse, not come to eat, either yesterday or today?" And Jonathan answered Saul, "David earnestly asked my permission to go to Bethlehem." And he said, "Please let me go, for our clan has a slaughtering in the city, and my brother has commanded me to be there. And now, if I have found favor in your eyes, please let me get away and see my brothers. That is why he has not come to the sovereign's table." Then the displeasure of Saul burned against Jonathan, and he said to him, "You son of a perverse, rebellious woman, do I not know that you have chosen the son of Yeshua to your own shame and to the shame of your mother's nakedness? For as long as the son of Yeshua lives on earth, you shall not be established, you and your reign. And now send and bring him to me, for he is a son of death." And Jonathan answered Saul his father and said to him, "Why should he be put to death? What has he done?" And at that Saul hurled the spear at him to smite him. Then Jonathan knew that his father had resolved to put David to death. And Jonathan rose up from the table in the heat of displeasure, and ate no food the second day of the new moon, for he was grieved for David, because his father put him to shame. And it came to be in the morning that Jonathan went out into the field at the time appointed with David, and a small youth was with him. And he said to the youth, "Now run, find the arrows which I shoot." As the youth ran, he shot an arrow behind him. And when the youth came to the place where the arrow which was Jonathan had shot, Jonathan called out after the youth and said, "Is not the arrow beyond you?" And Jonathan shouted after the youth, "Make haste, hurry, do not stand still." And Jonathan's youth picked up the arrows and came to his master. But the youth knew not to speak. But the youth knew not a speck. Only Jonathan and David knew of the matter. Then Jonathan gave his weapons to the youth and said to him, "Go, take them to the city." And as soon as the youth had gone, David rose up from the south side and fell on his face to the ground and bowed down 3 times. And they kissed one another and they wept together, but David more so. And Jonathan said to David, "Go in peace, since we have both sworn in the name of Yahweh, saying, Yahweh is between you and me, and between your seed and my seed forever." Then he arose and left, and Jonathan went into the city. Dun, dun, dun. Psalm 64, on page 680. Hear my voice, O Elohim, in my meditation. Guard my life from the threats of the enemy. Hide me from the secret plans of the evildoers, from the torment of the workers of wickedness, who sharpen their tongues like a sword, and aim their arrows a bitter word, to shoot in ambush at someone blameless. They shoot at him suddenly and do not fear. They arm themselves with an evil word. They talk of hiding snares. They have said, "He who sees." They search out unrighteousness. We have perfected a well-searched out plan. For the inward part of man and heart are deep, but Elohim does shoot at them with an arrow. Their wounds shall be sudden, and they cause one to stumble. Their own tongue is against them. All who see them flee away, and all men fear and declare the work of Elohim, and they shall wisely consider what he has done. The righteous rejoice in Yahweh, and he shall take refuge in him, and all the upright in heart praise him. Proverbs 28 on page 754. The wrong shall flee, though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. Because of transgression of a land, many are its rulers, but a man of understanding and knowledge right is made. But by a man of understanding and knowledge, right is maintained. A poor man who oppresses the poor is like a sweeping rain that leaves no food. Those who forsake the Torah praise the wrong. Those who guard the Torah strive with them. Evil men do not understand right ruling, but those who seek Yahweh understand all. Better is the poor who walks in his integrity than one perverse in his ways who is rich. He who watches over the Torah is a discerning son, but a companion of gluttons shames his father. He who increases his possessions by interest and profit gathers it for him who shows favor to the poor. He who turns away his ear from hearing the Torah, even his prayer is an abomination. He who causes the straight to go astray in an evil way falls into his own pit, but the perfect inherit the good. A rich man is wise in his own eyes, but the poor who has an understanding searches him out. When the righteous exalt, there is great comeliness, but when the wrong arise, a man is searched for. He who hides his transgression does not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them finds compassion. Blessed is the man who always fears Elohim, but he who hardens his heart falls into an evil. A roaring lion and a charging bear is a wrongdoing ruler over poor people. A leader who lacks understanding is a great oppressor, but the hater of greed prolongs his days. A man oppressed by blood guilt flees into a pit. Let no one help him. He who walks blamelessly is saved, but perverted of ways falls at once. He who tills his land is satisfied with bread, but he who pursues vanity is filled with poverty. A man of truth has many blessings, but one in a hurry to be rich does not go unpunished. To show partiality is not good, because for a piece of bread a man would transgress. A man with an evil eye runs after wealth, and does not know that poverty awaits him. He who reproves a man finds more favor afterwards than he who flatters with the tongue. He who robs his father or his mother and says it is no transgression is a companion to a destroyer. He who is greedy stirs up strife, but he who trusts in Yahweh prospers. He who trusts in his own heart is a fool, but he who walks wisely is delivered. He who gives to the poor does not lack, but he who hides his eyes does have many curses. When the wrong rise up, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. Luke 8 on page 993. And it came to be afterward that he, Yeshua, went through every city and village, proclaiming and bringing the good news of the reign of Elohim, and the 12 were with him. And certain women who were healed of wicked spirits and sickness, Miriam, called from Magdala, out of whom had come 7 demons, and Johanni, the wife of Cusa, manager of Herodes and Shohana, and many others who provided for him from their resources. And when a large crowd had gathered of those who were coming to him from every city, he spoke of by a parable. A sower went out to sow his seed, and as he sowed, some indeed fell by the wayside, and it was trodden down, and the birds of the heaven devoured it. Others fell on a rock, and when it grew up, it withered because it had no moisture. And others fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up with it and choked it. And others fell to the good soil, and grew up, and yielded a crop 100-fold. Having said this, he cried, He who has ears to hear, let him hear. And his taught ones asked him, What does this parable mean? And he said, To you it has been given to know the secrets of the reign of Elohim, but to the rest in parables, seeing. We start over, verse 10. And he said, To you it has been given to know the secrets of the reign of Elohim, but to the rest in parables, that seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not understand. Joshua 6:9. Not Joshua. Isaiah 6:9. Sorry. And this is the parable. The seed is the word of Elohim. And those by the wayside are the ones who hear, when the devil comes and takes away the word from their hearts, lest having believed they should be saved. And those on a rock are those who, when they hear, receive the word with joy, and these have no root, who believe for a while, and in time of trial fall away. And that which fell among the thorns are those, when they have heard, go out and are choked with worries and riches and pleasures of life, and bring no fruit to perfection. And that on the good soil are those who, having heard the word with a noble and good heart, retain it and bear fruit with endurance. And no one having lit a lamp covers it with a vessel. And no one having lit a lamp covers it with a vessel, or puts it under a bed, but he puts it on a lampstand, so that those coming in to see the light. For whatever is hidden shall be revealed, and whatever is secret shall be known and come to light. Therefore take heed how you hear, for whoever possesses to him more shall be given, and whoever does not possess even what he thinks he possesses shall be taken from him. And his mothers and brothers came to him, and they were unable to get to him because of the crowd. And it was reported to him, saying, Your mother and your brothers are standing outside, wishing to see you. And he answering said to them, My mother and my brothers are those who are hearing the word of Elohim and doing it. And on a certain day it came to be that he entered into a boat with his taught ones. And he said to them, Let us go over to the other side of the lake. And they set out. And as they were sailing, he fell asleep. And a windstorm came down on the lake, and they were filling up and were in danger. And they came to him and woke him up, saying, Master, Master, we are perishing. And he awoke and rebuked the wind and the raging of the water, and they ceased, and there was calm. And he said to them, Where is your belief? And they were afraid and marveled, saying to one another, Who then is this, that he gives command, he even gives commands to the winds and water, and they obey him? And they sailed to the country of Garnes, which is opposite of Galilee. And as he went out into the land, he was met by a certain man from the city, who had demons for a long time. And he wore no garments, and he was not living in a house, but in the tombs. And when he saw Yeshua, he cried out, fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, What have I to do with you, Yeshua, Son of the Most High Elohim? I beg you, do not torture me. For he commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man, for it had been seized him many times, and he had been bound with chains and shackles, being guarded, and breaking the bonds. He was driven by the demon into the lonely places. And Yeshua asked him, saying, What is your name? And he said, Legion, because many demons had entered into him. And they were begging him that he would not command them to go into the bottomless pit. And a herd of many pigs was feeding there on the mountain, and they begged him to allow them to go into them, and he allowed them. And the demons, having gone out of the man, entered into the pigs, and the herd rushed down the steep place into the lake and drowned. And when those feeding them saw what had taken place, they fled and reported to the city and in the country. So they came out to see what had taken place, and came to Yeshua, and found the man from whom the demons had gone out, sitting at the feet of Yeshua, dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. And those who had seen it reported to them how he had been possessed by the demons was healed. And all the crowd of the neighborhood of Galilee asked him to leave them, for they were seized with great fear. And he entered into the boat and returned. And the man from whom the demons had gone out was begging him to be with him. But Yeshua sent him away, saying, Go back to your house and relate what Elohim has done for you. And he went away, proclaiming throughout all the city of what Yeshua had did for him. And it came to be, when Yeshua returned, that the crowd gladly received him, for they were all looking for him. And there came a man whose name was Jairus, and he was a ruler of the congregation. And falling down at the feet of Yeshua, he was calling upon him to come to his house, because he had an only daughter, about 12 years of age, and she was dying. And as he went, the crowds thronged upon him, and a woman having a flow of blood for 12 years, who, having spent all her livelihood on physicians, was unable to be healed by any, came from behind and touched the tzitzit of his garment, and immediately her flow of blood stopped. And Yeshua said, Who touched me? And when all denied, Peter and those with him said, Master, the crowds throng you and press upon you, and you say, Who touched me? But Yeshua said, Somebody did touch me, for I knew power went out from me. And the woman, seeing that she was not hidden, came trembling, and falling down before him, she declared to him, in the presence of all the people, why she had touched him, and how she was healed immediately. And he said to her, Take courage, daughter. Your belief has healed you. Go in peace, While he was still speaking, someone came from the ruler of the congregation's house, saying to him, "Your daughter is dead. Do not trouble the teacher any further." And Yeshua, having heard, answered him, saying, "Do not be afraid, only believe, and she shall be healed." And coming into the house, he allowed no one to go in except Peter, James, and John, and the girl's father and mother. And they were all weeping and mourning for her. And he said, "Do not weep. She's not dead, but sleeps." And they were laughing at him, knowing that she was dead. But taking her by the hand, he called her, saying, "Child, arise." And her spirit returned, and she rose up immediately. And he directed that she be given food to eat. And her parents were astonished. But he ordered them to say to no one what had taken place. Thank you for listening. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible. Talk to the Father.